Welcome to the Creative Play and Podcast Network. Join us as we share our favorite RPGs, one-shot games, tabletop games, reviews, and convention panels. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, assigned to Ragnarok Story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and rpgpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Sir, please go ahead.
Heard it's just intent. Even accidental sometimes, but intent mainly if you
Absolutely.
or just
Absolutely.
record stuff. Right.
Some people will say, "Oh, you just point and click." I'll get to you in a second.
Sure.
Just point and click. And if you walk around and you don't even own a camera, you just got your cell phone and you're just taking pictures. Are you thinking of it as art? Or are you just capturing moments at the con? Things like that. So intent. What is your final goal? What is your purpose with taking that or many photos? Okay, please.
I was going to say light and composition works for photography or painting.
Oh, there's nothing that, and I know a few of you are photographers. Light is the number one, like light over location, for me, light is the most important thing. Like Victor said about canvases, that's probably my most important aspect of my photo. I gotta have the right light. This light out here during the afternoon, I'll get to you in a second, Jamie. This light out here at noon, 1 o'clock. Okay, I want that golden hour soft light. I want the open shaded light to develop from the buildings and the sun being over there. I like this, and then you got yellow walls, and it can be a real mess. Light can affect a lot of things. So yeah, good point. Please, Jamie.
You also have people that just have a natural gift. Like they can take the same picture I would take, or he would take, or she would take, and if they have the same talent as Michelangelo with sculpture, they can make art out of a 2D picture.
Yeah.
But then you can have somebody that's like just snapping and it's nothing.
And even though it might mean something to them, it might be perceived as just a regular photo, and that's okay. Yeah, good point. I can't draw. I can't. A stick figure, I'd make it look horrible. So, I might have all the right tools, but I tell you, I can't do that. Becky, please.
Perspective, because I've had you, CJ, and David all have your cameras on you at the same time. All three of y'all have something different.
That's what I love about it.
And I think so therefore that's art.
Yeah. And it just, you'll see David post photos in the page, or CJ will throw some up, and I was like, I was right there, and I know this, but seeing it just materializes it. Like, wow, just a completely different look and a vibe, and yet the same subject. Mm-hmm. Okay, so very good point. Any other, please, Tina.
Just even people who just go out and just point and click, can go back and take those pictures and turn it into art.
Yeah.
Like documentaries, or even documenting this event, I think that better.
Absolutely.
Just going, see what we get.
Absolutely. Really good points. So how we do, please, sir.
It's a loaded question, really, when you ask about art, because there are people who they look at ancient sketches, and it wasn't art. They were just recording a moment. Just like people argue that cameras just record a moment. The intent of the person behind it counts. Also, the intent of people viewing it counts, because a picture that you take now that you just took a picture because whatever, who knows in 50, 100, 1,000 years? Oh, look at this art. It's all also dependent on your observer after the fact.
Has anyone ever been somewhere where, my wife and I, we just came back from Utah this past October, and we were going through Capitol Reef, and they had all kinds of there was pictographs up on the rocks and everything. That meant something to those people. They were recording their history, their culture, their people at that time. And here we were just, wow, 1,000 years later, this is amazing. And yet it's just an oddly shaped humanoid type figure. I think they might be something else. But anyway, that's me digressing. But they're amazing to look at. I think I know what you meant. I hope my analogy went with that a little bit, yeah. Anything else on that first point? Good first debate, okay. I like all that, and I like your point, sir. That really, like I said, I want to learn a little bit too. That gives me new perspective. Okay, please, Kathleen.
So, I'm not a photographer at all, but I like to take pictures.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
But this one time, only once ever in my life, I took a photograph that was, I think it's art. It's like amazing. It was at Old Tucson when we were at the convention, and a rainbow came up. Mountains are in the background, and I got the, it's the most amazing picture I ever taken. If anyone ever asks me, have you ever taken a great photo that's art? That is the one. But only
Do you
once.
consider yourself a photographer?
No.
Yeah,
no,
look what you
but
did.
I did that once, so I think that's really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would consider that one photo art.
yeah.
But otherwise, I just.
And to kind of piggyback on that, and we'll move on to the next bullet point here in a moment. When I was in the Army, traveling all over to BFE and beyond, and I'd have those little Kodak cameras that just, and then you turn it into the kiosk and get your photos back. Did I make the sounds? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. And, I just wanted to take pictures of where I was, and I look back on those pictures still to this day, and they're not like works of art or anything, but by doing that, people would say, oh my God, look at this one, Pete. And that kind of encouraged me. And that's kind of what fed into me becoming what I am today. I'm just a full-time portrait event photographer. So you never know. And I look back through some of my old ones and wow, I didn't know what I was doing back then, looking back. Was that redundant? But at the same time, how did I get that shot? That is awesome. So, that's a great point. Okay. What else? Anything else on that point before we move on? Okay. Yeah. Oh, please, Jennifer.
Okay, so I was at the opportune place, opportune moment. A camera that kept jamming, a tiny little thing. I used it once, and I got home, and there was this picture of a cat yawning, like right here. And I'm like, how did I do that? I went home and painted that, and it got me huge results. It just won best photo or best painting, People's Choice, and all off of this one photo. And it went to a winery.
No way!
Yeah, fantastic.
How cool!
Yeah.
John, I just want to say that picture of the cat reminds me of a photo my sister took. I mean, she had a cat, a little black cat called him Diffie. Happened to take his picture as the cat was yawning. She loved it.
And it's a dramatic look for a dog, a cat, yeah. Teeth all,
It's all the way open.
Yeah. It's kind of vulnerable too.
Yeah.
Which in a way, it makes it more, it can intensify that photo. It can be more dramatic.
Dracula kitty after that.
Dracula kitty. Okay, so photography. Let's move on. How many of you, are there anybody here that works with like software that edits photos, like Photoshop, Lightroom? You do? I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay, even if you got like some little program that comes with your computer at home and you can give it a little pop and zing to your photo, things like that, all right? So for myself as a photographer, I call that post-processing or just editing my photos. Is that cheating? Or should you take a photo and that's it? Should you just leave it as is?
You're allowed to cheat. You're allowed to cheat.
Why are you allowed to cheat?
Because you could put a filter on my face.
Okay. No, why would I want to do
Just
that? Did you have something, Ken? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say one thing. It's not cheating. As a matter of fact, most photographers should do it. There's a certain point you get to where about everything you shoot, you do it with the intent of post-processing. Everything I take these days, I always post-process.
Yeah. Sir, please.
I was going to say, again, that's intent. If you're going to just take pictures and your goal is in the shot, versus
Mhm.
you're gonna edit, and we all do both. So it all depends.
Give me a second, Ethan. I think, did someone have a hand up over here? Go ahead, your mom's beating you out. Okay, go ahead. 1 second.
Again, it's the intent, but like, if you're taking it and making it into, like, if it's no longer recognizable, but like, remove a little blemish, like, you know, I for one am appreciative of things like that, you know, like.
Have you ever, and I'll get to you, Ethan. I'll get to you real quick, Dana. Have you ever seen like somebody posts a photo in a local chat group on Facebook? Oh, look at this beautiful sunrise, and we call it overcooked. I'm getting some head nods, and it looks like, you know, they took that high dynamic range and like slid the slider all the way over. Now I'm a Gemini. I like balance, so I'm moving sliders like. I like to give it a little oomph and kind of call it the day. But you see those photos and the clouds, like who said it doesn't look real? Did you say that? I bet. It doesn't look recognizable. Yeah, people will overcook their. Now that's style. I mean, that's okay for them to do. It's not my style. It's not what I want to show. But if they're happy, I also conversely will say that I'll go back and look at old photos of mine. I took that out of the oven a little too late. But you learn, but that's a whole other ball of wax. But you start to learn, you know, just move those little sliders just a little bit. Ethan, please, I'll get to you in a second.
Just hard to cheat at something that there's not actually rules to. Like, what are you cheating?
Yeah, I mean, what's that old ad? Know the rules so you can break them. Yes, there are rules in photography that, you know. I had a film professor tell me, it's not the rule of thirds, Pete. It's the guideline of thirds. Like, sure, and if you don't know, does anyone not know what the rule of thirds is? Think of a rectangular photo, okay? Now think of a tic-tac-toe board on there. Where those lines intersect in those 4 spaces, we photographers like to put key focal points there. Like someone's eye, like it'll right over their eye, or it'll like a bridge in a you know, some sort of scene or a waterfall. We like those main focal points to line up with those rules of thirds. It doesn't mean you have to. Each photo kind of can write its own rules too. And what is your intent? What do you want to do with that photo when you're done with it? How do you want that to look? How do you want it to convey whatever message it is you're trying to deliver to the viewer? So there's all kinds of things. You know, some people say you've got to have that subject on those cross points, but you don't. You really don't. So that's a good point, Ethan. And James, did you have something? I know. But Dana still did. Okay.
Well, yeah, I was going to say original Photoshop was in the darkroom, dodging and burning and messing with the contrast.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's just a slider, and you don't have to inhale all the fumes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to get to film here in a minute. Okay. But yeah, really, some of the things you do with these photo editing software programs, that was a mouthful, is you're basically doing old light or dark room techniques, dodging and burning, making a certain area of your photo brighter or darker, or whatever it is you're trying to do. That's and we're going to get to film. Okay, please, Ken.
What I want to say is that there's times when you intentionally overcook something.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you mentioned about one thing to do these days, if with the software, which you really couldn't do on a film without going through a lot of problems, is you can change the color of anything.
Right, you can
saturate it. All you have to do is you go to the colors, go by the color you want under even Lightroom, push the slider all the way direction, get rid of the other colors.
Yeah. I can make your green eyes red if I want. That kind of stuff, yeah.
As a model, sometimes I like to mess with my own photos. Sometimes I like to change the shadows to make, you know, because what we do together is our art together. And if I want my images to be darker for whatever reason, like more dramatic, more lost soul as we use, I will adjust.
We do creepy shoots.
We do creepy shoots. So I will intentionally darken parts of it or add certain flecks or colors. Is that cheating? No. Yeah, I'm making my own version of the same art form.
Yeah. So bottom line on that point, we'll move on to the next one, is that Post-processing. It's not really cheating. The intent is the big thing there. I think that we can take home from that point. But there are some that you should know that really believe that that should be it. Now, I am a photographer, and I'm sure Ken can back this up, and some of you others. You try to get it as good as you can in camera. The less I got to do later on that computer, the better. Just enough to give it a little bit of oomph in it, its vibrance or something, and leave it at that. But again, intent. My style is going to be different than yours and yours and yours. And your gear, we'll get to gear here in a second too, but that might determine your style of shooting too, okay? So excellent points. So let's jump to film versus digital. Anybody here that used to work in a dark room? I'm going to guess David did. You did, sir? Michelle, you have? Okay, if you haven't, that's okay. It was a long, tedious, but kind of cool process once you get it down. I admit, it's been years for me, okay? But what do you think is better? What do you think is like, is digital photography real photography? Or do we need to be old school? I'm film and that's it. Okay, I got a bunch of hands. Let me start here and I'll sweep around to you, Victor.
Okay, there's one big difference between digital photography and film.
I think
and
I know
that
where
is
you're going.
cost.
Okay.
Digital films, you can take as many shots as you want, it don't cost any more. Film, every time, just taking a shot, spending money, developing it, spending money, making digital, spending money.
Yeah, money, that's huge. I was just thinking of the whole film versus digital debate. I didn't even think of the money. I can take a photo of you, Victor, out in the hallway here, and I'm like, oh man, it's too bright. Let me do that again. I can literally just delete that photo right on the spot. Don't have to worry about it. I get immediate feedback on that screen. I can at least determine, is this too bright? Is it too dark? Is it too warm or too cold with white balance? But that's a whole different ball of wax, and we'll get to those, but money. And that's kind of the reason why I still have a film camera, but I don't have, just to get access to a dark room, to buy the film, I have a memory card in here, that's it. I fill it up, I dump it onto my hard drives, I work on it in my post-processing, I reformat the card and use it again. I may have spent $60 on that card, but it's again and again and again. But the film and the chemicals and just the access to, do you know where a dark room is in the town you live? Do you even know where one is? And you'll see something on like Facebook or a commercial like Polaroid, that's coming back. Like you don't even hear about it anymore, really. It's just because of that, and I love it, but it's a nostalgic vintage, it's like records are coming back. I love that. But anyway, it's just kind of cool that little thing comes out and you got to shake it, and but it's expensive. Okay, excellent point, Ken. Sir, I'll get to you in a second.
Well, two things. I was going to joke again. There's the chemicals. You have to deal with the chemicals, but the preciousness of film or printing. You can take thousands on a card, and you might get a lot of good images that you don't have to mess with in electronic darkroom, right? But intent, I guess, the preciousness of film, or that's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And printing in the darkroom, that's more, I don't know, finite, I guess. You can just do
the very first night of the film class I took, the professor got up there and he said, "All right, everyone, my name is Mr. Honda, and if you're going to learn anything this semester from me, you're going to learn patience." You darkroom folks know what I'm talking about. You got to invest a lot of this immediate gratification right here. Oh my God, I just got a killer shot of you, sir. Oh my God, wow. I know that right away. I know I'm going to take it back home and give it a little bump. But a darkroom, you gotta slow down, and it even starts before you get in the darkroom. You're thinking about your exposure triangle, your light and your dark, how sensitive your lens is picking up on everything around you. You're surrounded.
You're developing the film.
You really gotta think before you go click on that shutter. Where this, I can, those two didn't work. Delete. Now it doesn't mean I'm careless, but I can be a little bit more frivolous if I want to. So excellent point, Victor.
Yeah, I can basically think two bad things, one good thing. the first thing I thought of were, and this is going to idea how old I am, 2 words: airport, X-ray.
I didn't even consider that. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Because I remember losing a whole lot of the pictures when I was younger because of the fact I had to take the camera through an X-ray machine. The other bad thing that I know about photos is that the negative, the actual celluloid itself, unless you treat it carefully, it doesn't last very long.
Yes.
I mean, because the chemicals in there, they fade, which means the older that a negative is, the less detail there is. The one potential good thing about film, however, is that because it's not really relying on pixelation, you will get better quality when it's reproduced as a digital component.
That is excellent. I love that. Good point. David, did you have something? Okay, so sir, please.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I knew a guy when I was in college, so that should say how long ago it was. But he was a film nerd, and he would sit there, and he and some other people would watch something or see a picture and try to figure out what camera, what lens, what the optics were on it. And they would sit there and, in the early stages of digital camera, they were even arguing about the components of the digital camera, because that's the way they were thinking is
I see what you're,
the breakdown of how this picture was made depending on how you were what equipment you were using.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a whole lot of, I'm sure now there's a whole lot of variables with digital, but it wasn't a whole lot of variables then. While cameras, you could go anything from a 1930s camera all the way up to a 2000 camera and break down, well, if you use this camera and that lens from the 30s.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. I know these things, but I wasn't thinking about them for this discussion. That's awesome. Please.
Also, when you were doing film, you had to worry about what your ISO was, because you usually do something like 100 if you're doing bright lights, but sometimes if you're like this, you want to go down to 40. They did finally come out with 1,000, I remember. That sucked as far as grain was concerned. Now, any modern computer could go way beyond, I forget what mine is, I get it about 32,000.
Oh, yeah. If you don't know, ISO, depending on the photographer you're talking with, it's your sensors, like the sensitivity to the light. And I can take this and I can make my lens use. When I'm shooting the burlesque show tomorrow night, I'm going to probably crank my ISO up a little bit because I need all the light I can get. Now, it produces some effects to your photos that you got to correct later on, but get the shot while you can. So that's what Ken, because I just want to make sure that we're not losing anyone here. But ISO is, again, the sensitivity to light. If I could spit that out. How sensitive your lens is, your sensor to the light around you. And you can darken that. Like, so if I'm out here today, I might have it down to 100, as low as I can get it. Whereas the burlesque show tomorrow night, I'll probably have it 12,000 or more and noise reduction later on and everything else. So that's okay though, okay? But excellent point, all right? And then, good point again, sir. Now, let's talk about going from that, the digital versus the film. Does it matter what you're using? Does it matter if you're using a camera? We know intent. That's a good one. We're going to do like Wheel of Fortune, and we'll put the R's and the S's and the T's up there. I'm not trying to not get you to talk, sir. But intent, we let's put that into play already. But does it matter what kind of gear you use? What kind of camera do you have, James?
I just got a Rebel.
Just
really
a Rebel.
Just a Rebel.
Just a Rebel. What kind of camera do you use, Ken?
I started with the Rebel.
So did I. When I first went to...
It's a starter package.
A Canon RP because I did it at 80D and got so tired of the weight on my shoulders. I went mirrorless.
Does it do the job you want it to do?
It does the same photos and same things as, actually it does more than what my 80D did.
Yeah. How about yours, James? Does yours do what
it does
you
what
want?
I need it for.
Yeah.
So.
Anyone else have a camera? Do you just use your cell phone?
Use that
What's do you got a little point and click with that little lens that comes out?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. Can you take better? Does better gear equal better photos?
Not necessarily.
Okay, depends on the person, not necessarily.
It's
just
more
more
options in the light.
It might give you more options. Hold that thought, please.
They always say the best gear is the what you have. Everyone has a smartphone. Smartphones have cameras. If that's all you've got to work with, that's the best gear.
That's the best.
And you're on.
Right, exactly.
And your creativity and your imagination, and get out there and take shoot. If you're trying to get better at photography, if you're casual and you like that, that's okay too. But if you want to get better, shoot every day. Shoot the coffee mug on your counter in your kitchen when you're making coffee in the morning. Take a cool picture. Practice something. Fail. Let your errors build the way for you. Okay, there's your little soapbox for you. Okay, but I think we can understand that it kind of sounds like everyone's on the same line of thought here. That it doesn't necessarily matter what gear you're using, and we're going to get to options here in a second. But it's up to you, your eye, your creativity. You could have the greatest gear in the world if you don't know what to do with it. What's the point? Okay, so but options. What kind of options does better gear give you? Does it let you? Can you take a good photo in that? Well, they don't let you take photos at the burlesque show. Can you take it? Well, I will, but so don't mind me. If you just have a kind of a basic digital camera, is that going to be able to achieve quality photos in a very low lit situation like that show? Okay. I also shoot concert photography from time to time, festivals, music this, music that. I gotta have the right lenses on that camera, or I'm just wasting my time and the band's time. So gear matters, but intent. What do we want to? Are you going into the photo pit for? I'm trying to think of that band that you love, just to bring up a band.
One, there's several.
Okay, I'll think of it. Okay, you're shooting your favorite band, you're in the photo pit, you want good gear. But if you're just kind of in the crowd getting a few shots, maybe your cell phone works, maybe your point and click works, it may not get what that professional camera gets, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day, I would suppose.
Well, here's what's crazy. You know how you said you got to learn the rules sometimes to break them?
Yeah.
I think with equipment, the limitation, like say you don't have a lot of money for a good gear, sometimes the limitation forces you to be more creative, and you get really interesting shots that maybe you wouldn't have taken if you had the good focus or whatever. Because I've seen that with artists too, where it's like, I'm thinking more of visual art, where they use like MS Paint and they make this beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Because that's all they had, so I think that's interesting.
That's excellent. I like that point. Let me get to you in a second, Gordon. Thank you. I'm a Canon shooter. I don't care, Nikon, Fuji, you're all cool. Okay, Sony. I'm not one of them. Okay. I thought you were going to throw something at me. I'm a Canon shooter. And the 50 millimeters, the nifty 50s, they're about $125. You can go out and get one. And they have an amazing aperture that basically means you can open the eye, go wide. And they're really cool because you can use those lenses, and they're kind of on the cheap considering what lenses cost these days. And you can get really good low light photography with these lenses. But they're also prime lenses, which if you don't speak that language, prime lenses are stuck at the focal length that they're at. 50 millimeters. So there's no zooming, so that's it. So I can get these really great low light photos as long as you're about right there, okay? But I'm not getting the drummer back there. I'm not getting this or that. I'm not getting any. So you got to be able to save up, because some of those 70, 200, blah, blah, blahs, those zoom lenses, those big white ones you see, they're a few grand, if not more. Please.
What I miss with the digital,
Go ahead.
opposed to 35 millimeter, is with digital, I don't print.
Okay.
I don't go and print them all. They're
Intent.
more selective. But with my husband has 1,500 slides from Vietnam, and they're still excellent tradition. And we have albums with a 35 millimeter, but we put the negatives right in the album, and they're never, you know, out in the light and everything. And those, you have photo albums. With the digital, I'm less likely to do that.
Most people
print.
shoot and put it on their Facebook.
It's all in here, and every time I get a new phone, they lose half my photos.
Yeah.
So,
Good point. And Gordon, I'm sorry.
No,
I totally.
I'm an Apple shooter. Now, a lot of times, depending on what you're doing, a lot of this, my shooting is, you know, like digital, just to trigger memories. It's not necessarily to print things up. Oh, this, I remember this. Remember what we did last year with this? Goes onto Facebook, goes onto what have you. But it's just to trigger a memory. Hey, oh yeah, here's what else we did.
And you're good to go. You're happy with that intent. Yeah. Absolutely. Really good point there. Ken, please.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about there is one difference I have noticed, which between the point shoots and more advanced cameras, and that as far as what you can do with them. One thing occurred to me is like concerts and stuff. I've every year I've been going to Country Thunder, and I've had people ask me why my pictures turned out good, but theirs didn't. And I told them, hey, they had to shoot manual, because the only way to do it at the concert, because of all the light shows, is you do what they expect for digital is you get the format you're interested in, set it manually for expose for them, and forget about it. I guarantee that all your pictures will go within right range. The whole point of that is all that light show, which keeps changing, screws the hell out of the camera that's designed for automatic exposure.
And even if you got to edit it, you know, one a little bit more than the other later, you're in that range.
You're in that range.
Yeah, that's, man, they're amazing.
But that is one difference I found between someone who's trying to do a point and shoot and the other. Of course, some of the cell phones now I have done with the iPhone, and it's smart enough to get decent shots off it.
These cell phones these days, you can adjust your shutter speed, your ISO, your sensor sensitivity. You can open the eye. I mean these cameras. I mean, look at all those. What the hell? You can do almost what a professional camera does. Now, are these like 50 megapixels, which contain more data? I mean, can you necessarily blow up a cell phone photo and make it, you know, CJ and I, we go do a lot of landscape photography. Am I going to take a cell phone picture of delicate arch in Arches National Park and blow it up into a 30 by 30 canvas? No, not from my cell phone. That's what I need these big megapixels for. Okay, but man, you can do so much with these cell phones. Okay, Heather, did you? I thought I heard you say something. Did you? Okay.
I already said what I did.
Okay. What? Can I get a time check, please?
It's 34.
34. Okay. All right. Now let's bring the convention into this. I'm a photographer. Obviously, I'm walking around taking pictures all weekend. Do I need to ask you for permission to take your picture?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
I hear yeses. You're not wrong. Do I not need to?
Yeah, it depends.
Okay.
Okay, if you are a professional photographer shooting for the convention, because I know this convention's used them for years, you do not need permission, because you've given that permission to the convention by buying your ticket.
Do you ever go into a concert? I'm going to hop on your point here. You ever go into like somewhere and it's like, please be advised, you could end up, we're filming this concert tonight. You know, James could be in the front row going, you know, or something like that. Okay, you see those signs? There's sort of an implied, okay, you can get your photo, you might get your photo taken. Now, I'm the kind of photographer that I'd rather walk up to you. Oh my God, you look amazing. That outfit. Oh my God, look at the hat. Blah blah blah. Do you mind if I take a few pictures? So I like to do it that way. So we kind of bring those two worlds together. You know, you don't get in the bushes and sneak around and oh, there's James and he's scratching his nose. If I get him from this side, it'll look like he's picking his nose. You know, we're not here to do that. Okay.
Let me delete those.
There's a little bit of yes and there's a little bit of no. We want to be respectful. There are some people that don't want their photos taken. And maybe they do, but give them a second to kind of, ooh, let me put my ribbons away. Let me, okay, all right. And that's okay too. Ethan, please.
Like with the, obviously the con photography, like we inherently give consent for the con, but like personal. But and it's also more of like just courtesy, especially like with me being a furry and all that. Like I'm not very comfortable just facing photos and everything.
Thank
so,
you.
Like, if you're taking pictures and whatnot, just like give me a heads up and I can pop the head on.
Yeah.
One, you know.
Yeah. And I have the luxury, we've worked together, and I know that, but someone else may not. And that's an excellent point to bring up. So we've got to be cognizant of your feelings and your bubble and your space as well. Yeah, okay, I'm going to the con. I'm probably going to have my photo taken. But show respect, too, back to that convention goer. You know, I'm not just walking around just getting you, and you're like, what the hell, dude? You know, you're sitting there and you're taking a bite of your salad. I'm not going to take a photo of you eating your food, or, you know. Yes, please.
I'd like to bring something up. It's kind of along the same lines.
Please.
He brings up an excellent point. You are hired to take pictures of the convention. I get that. And I as a guest or as a ticket holder can expect to possibly be in the background of a picture or something. What are people's thoughts about, I'm just sitting in the airport, I'm waiting to board my plane. This person, sorry, I'm just going to randomly say, some person over there looks over at me and says, takes out their cell phone, goes over like this, zooms in, takes a picture of me, puts me somehow on Facebook or something, I become a meme, blah, blah, blah. What about that? That's the part that really bothers me.
It bothers me too.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of north-south head shakes here. Who thinks that would be okay for some guy to just kind of, and the way you held your hand, you kind of did the whole, like he's being like creepy, you know.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. No way. That's verboten where I'm coming from. So I don't like that at all.
That's a terrible human being.
You know, I see hands.
Yeah.
I will sometimes walk through the vendor hall, and I might walk by a table. Hey, I'm gonna go over here, and I want just do your business, and people are engaging with you, maybe buying a hat or something. Is it okay if I get some candid shots? Like, I don't want people to pose all the time. I want to get those kind of look-throughs and capture the con's action as it's happening. But I still like to, is it okay if I'm going to get a few shots of your booth? And if you're just honest and tell them, and don't be a weirdo creepazoid, then you're probably good to go, right? Okay? And then, I don't want to open up a whole other can of worms. I know I share some of my stuff on social media. When there are people that are in a photo that I might give to the con, here you go, these are some of the photos I took. Maybe some where people, how do I put this? I'd rather share the photos where I know that people are good to go with me doing that. So even beyond taking the photo, when I want to share them, I want to make sure that person is good to go with that. So good point. Okay, please.
With that in mind, I've taken some pictures of the panel here. Aside from Ethan, I'm going to make sure that you're not in the image without your hat. Is anyone else not okay with me sharing these photos? We all cool? Okay, cool. Because I'm going to send them to Pete, and he may post them on Facebook.
You better.
Awesome.
I'm just looking at my notes here. Okay.
We're 40 after.
40 after? Okay. Please, Becky.
But also, like with all that, like, consent can be withdrawn, and that needs to be respected as well. Because we've run into that with kid back there, you know. And it didn't yet. We were like, delete the photos right now. Not you, it was a different you know. But none of the photographers that are here, and I was like, delete it because consent had been withdrawn.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. If a photographer makes you uncomfortable at any point, you can withdraw your consent immediately. You can say, look, you know what? I'm not cool with this. No offense to you, but you weird me out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can always say that. Maybe not so bluntly, but
No, but us as the subject, speak up if you are uncomfortable. Please, like, withdraw that consent too.
I sometimes I go around and get video footage too for some video content. And it was a couple of years ago at at a certain casino that shall remain unnamed, and it was the meet and greet the night before everything started, and I don't want to pick on it was Dina's mom, and I was kind of walking through, and she was just off to the side, and she went, "Oh, Pete," and I went, "Oh," and I just went and deleted that little clip and got it out of there. Like, I don't want to do that to you. Now I was just kind of coming through with my little gimbal and all that jazz. But she told me, and I was like, "You got it. Here, delete." So speak up if you don't like that. Be polite, be professional, and if they aren't, let staff know, and they will take care of it. So, okay. Now we got about 15 minutes. Let's turn the cooker up a little bit. AI.
Oh.
All right, we already got. All right, thank you for coming to my panel. Okay, well, all right. I just said AI. I'm going to leave it blank for a moment. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that my professional is not photography. I do programming for embedded systems. I know what AI is. It's a name like they stuck on it, cloud. However, AI, it's one of those things like we talked about, how it's used.
This is great. Okay.
The way it's been misused is I go on to YouTube and there's a ton of videos that are totally AI.
Cats playing guitars. And
however, there is a place for it. There is a place for it though, which is also AI, but they don't quite call it that. If you go into the latest releases of Lightroom, go into the latest releases of Photoshop, they have a thing called you go in and automatically mask for you. Like for example, you can mask out your sky, the person in the Lightroom, as well as the background. So you can go into photo, instead of doing it by hand mask, you go that and you mask it. Photoshop's gone a step beyond there. They have sky replacement.
Oh yeah. I was going to talk about sky.
Yeah, and one of the things is I recently did several shots doing the sky replacement because I took some photos of a race car, a street racer, and matter of fact, the name of the race was a Beast, which that's another story. But I also took, because a moonshot. Now the moon is the easiest thing to photograph. I went and took it into, actually I think I might have started out in Lightroom, I don't remember. Took the sliders, I did a blue moon, a red moon, and a green moon.
Okay.
So I took the blue moon, replaced the sky, not with the sky, but with a picture of the moon. Same way as I also did with the red moon. I didn't do one with the green because the color didn't quite fit.
Mm-hmm.
So
they have a thing called sky replacement. I can take a picture of the Catalina Mountains, and it can be as Arizona bluebird sky out there today, and I can change that to clouds. I can change that to whatever I want. And is that ethical? Maybe not. What am I going to do with it? What's the intent? Am I going to sell that image and say that's what it really was at the time? Is that ethical?
No.
And I got you on tap here. Okay, we wormholes here. Is that a Dune reference? Yes, please.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke.
I had a very strong and immediate response, and that is specifically to generative AI.
Okay.
Because generative AI specifically, the thing that we think of when we hear AI, large language learning models, they are inherently stolen. They've admitted themselves, like CEOs of a lot of companies, I can't remember which one specifically, but they admitted themselves that they could not have the model function without using copyrighted work in its base, like in its repository of, like, I can't remember, like the...
Essentially the input that goes into AI.
The training, there we go, the training data.
Yeah.
It functions inherently off of copyrighted work, and as an artist, as somebody who takes pictures, who makes art, in writing, even anything like that, I don't think it's okay that they've taken copyrighted work that belongs to artists and use it in their reproduction machines. Because if you know about how generative AI models work, you know that they cannot inherently produce anything new. They are taking their training data and reproducing it for people, basically Scrabble letters, shaking up the bag and dumping it out.
Mm-hmm.
There are no new letters. There are only letters that were in the bag.
That's
and that's
right.
not even touching on the environmental impacts, the water concerns, water usage.
Oh my God.
Not even touching on that.
This room could
Simply
explode with that.
Just because of the copyright, I personally think that generative AI
Yeah.
is not okay to be used in a lot of settings. just
Most of
because
your
it's
artists
stolen.
at large, that's excellent. What you're using with generative AI is stealing from other artists. I took a picture of some sunset, and now somebody is using pixels from my photo to make their photo better. I did the work. That's mine. It's got my, not to sound all me, but anybody, your work is being stolen. There are some that say they compensate the artists. I don't know if that's true or not. To what extent do they count? Hey, some of your pixels were used for blah blah blah. Is that okay? I don't know if that's kosher or not. You might have a thought on that. Sky replacement we were talking about. I could change completely the whole sky. So many things I could do. What if I'm just getting rid of like a scar on your cheek? Is that ethical?
Yeah.
Is that okay? I'm removing things, and it might use like a generative AI. Is that okay? It used pixels of somebody else's skin. I'm not saying that's good, or I'm not trying to be like, the sky is falling. Is that good or bad? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I just want to say one thing. When, like sky replacement, in a way it's sort of bad because they took stock skies, the one. But if you go to some one of the other options under, Photoshop or Lightroom, what you're actually doing, like for example, removing something, you're not taking something from someplace else.
Covering
and
it.
what it's doing is it takes, like for example, if you have something here that you want to remove, it actually comes up and pulls something else here.
Yeah.
Which you already had versions of it, but the only thing is they made the selection a little bit better.
Yeah,
And
the software will draw from pixels. So, like there's a scar here, and that kid doesn't want it in his photo, and it basically will draw from colored and exposed and everything else, pixels around there, and basically it doesn't get rid of the scar, it just patches over it and you never see it. And it's amazing actually.
Yeah.
But again, ethical or not? Are we stealing or not? Okay, sorry, go
that
ahead.
gets back to the arts versus reality.
Yeah. Okay, very excellent point. You'll see those ones where, you see a lot of ads on Facebook now where it has like a cartoonish, we all know what that AI look. Photoshop has a program called Firefly. You can literally just go in there and it's a blank page and you can type in red dragon with flames coming out of his mouth. He's got a saucer in his hand with a bunch of mushrooms on it. And he's talking to a magician. And you can hit enter and it'll sit and think and it'll steal a whole bunch of stuff from elsewhere and it'll create this picture for you. I just created a picture of a dragon with a saucer full of mushrooms with a magician. Is that cheating?
That was one high.
Yeah.
So my question is, are you going to sell that dragon, or are you just going to be kind of amused by it and show it to your?
Okay. Now,
Whatever
before
your
I jump
friend-
into that,
I don't know.
there's the whole, the effect on our environment and the resources. So we can all probably say
Yeah.
we don't want that. But if you're just doing it for yourself at home, that's what we're here for. Is that okay? Or are you still thinking, yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that?
I don't know. I'm on the fence on that one. So I'd like to hear what other people think.
And that's okay, Victor. Please.
The main issue I have about AI is it goes back to the old algorithm: garbage in, garbage out. You've got a lot of bad art on the net, and AI doesn't have any way of distinguishing.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it doesn't. It just says, okay, we'll take the average, we'll put it together, and that the result is probably pictorial, but is it good? Probably not.
I gotcha. I do it again, a lot of landscape, and I'll see something from like Horseshoe Bend or something. and that somebody posted it in a photo group, and everyone's like, oh my God, whoa. And it's like, I've literally stood there. That is not Horseshoe Bend. I think I made my point. You know, that kind of stuff drives me crazy. And it's not about me. I'm getting all feisty now. Okay, I'm taking portraits and I share them on my business photography page. I'm trying to promote to get more business, et cetera, et cetera. And we got to already fight that algorithm and trolls and all kinds of other BS. You got somebody that, and I'm going to tell you, it hurts. They put up this crappy AI, garbage in, garbage out, and everyone's just, and I'm like, I'm just trying to keep my dream alive here with my business. Like, nobody's seeing this, but everyone's looking at this plate of garbage. Okay. Yes, please.
Personally, I think even individual use, even if you're not going to sell it for anything like that, personally, I think that is still a little bit irresponsible.
Okay.
Not necessarily that you're like a horrible person or whatever. Like, I understand, especially if you're not super educated on the topic, using generative AI and like being like, oh, look at this funny little image that it made. But I'm pretty sure it takes about a liter of water per prompt, and that's a lot of water.
Okay.
There are active shortages happening now because of generative AI. There are water shortages when we are already suffering from mismanagement of resources. There aren't too many people, but there aren't enough. Like, the resources that we have aren't being managed properly. And LLMs in general, not even just the ones that we can access as consumers, but the ones on the back end for tech companies and things like that, they are using exorbitant amounts of water, and I think that honestly it's just kind of irresponsible, like the way that we have relied on it.
If you live here in Arizona or up near Vegas or LA and you know or have anything to do with the Colorado River and you see all the data centers that they want to start building around here and some that have already gone up, that river is our lifeblood, and they're going to destroy it. And I don't want to get on a big soapbox there, and we're almost done anyway, but yeah, the ecological facts, what it does to our environment around us is just, it's crazy. Real quick, go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say, many years ago, Photoshop had the same kind of reaction, and also the intent. If you're trying to sell this stuff as your own, no way, you can't.
Yeah, I don't know how you can do that in good. If you're in good conscience, wow. I mean, and 5 minutes. Okay, let's wrap this up. Go ahead, Davina, please.
There is something beautiful about human effort and the struggle and the connection. I'm married, but if a guy was proposing to me, I wouldn't want a proposal written by AI.
Chat GPT.
I want his
proposal.
I want his nervous stumbling.
Yeah.
I want his and I want it to be a connection and creative.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not an expert. There's so much, and the technology changes every day and gets better or worse, maybe. Without all the mistakes I've made over the years, I wouldn't know half of what I know today. So, I mean, that human effort is a big deal. It really, and we'll wrap this up so you all get to next panels and whatnot. I'm not really a video game player. I mean, back in the day, maybe. Did you ever get a cheat code? And you go into God mode, and you win. And then what did you feel like? Like, wow, that kind of... Now the game's over. Okay, dumb analogy, but do the work. That's what I think.
There's something beautiful and magical and creative.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Please enjoy your con. If you want your picture taken, or remember some of the stuff we said earlier, if you don't want your picture taken, say so. The photographers that are here, David Robinson, William McElliott, I think we don't have that many this year. They all know what they're doing, and they'll listen to you. So if you, they know, they understand what they're seeing. Okay, but enjoy getting your photo taken if you want it, and don't worry about it if you don't. And any last parting words, shots, thoughts? Yes. Oh, you're just bringing your parasol up. I really appreciate. Oh, Dana, please.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the other side just really quick. So my husband posted on a niche group about something that happened about finding a classic car, basically a barn find, and they're like, that didn't happen. This is a bot. And he's like, no, this really happened. And then they blocked him. So then that's the reverse. I wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool. You can't believe it's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
real life anymore.
Right.
You have to like triple check it to see if it's AI.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen those little back and forth spat comments like, "This is AI." No, it's not.
No, it's not. Right. But in this case, he really did, find a classic car. He's pretty proud of it. So he shares it with the people that are in, and they're like, nope, and they banned him. So there you go.
We
gotta watch out.
We're getting so defensive about it.
Well,
maybe not a bad thing entirely, but we're getting so defensive about it that just that everything's AI.
The pendulum's swinging. So I just point that out. Just be moderate, be fair.
And did you have one more?
Yeah, I just want to say, because you brought that up, not AI, as far as you're posting photos. Recently, a bottle friend got attacked on Facebook for her car. Because it moved beyond her car, it moved to her personally. So you have to. There's assholes out there. Put it that way.
And you can only deal with so much of that.
Yeah.
So you can tell a troll most times, and you can just get out of here. But it can hurt too.
Yeah.
Thank you all again. My name is Pete. I'll have the camera or the video thing going all weekend. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing with us, and enjoy the con. Hug your friends. I hate that this is going away, man. I wait every day for this con to come back every year, and now I'm like, slow the hell down. I'll get off my box. Thank you all. Have a great day, and go have fun. Get some lunch. Hydrate.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play-In Podcast Network. If you enjoyed our show, please check out D&D Journey of the 5th Edition and Ragnarok Enroll a Scion Hero to Ragnarok Story. Also, check out our Patreon page for more content and behind-the-scenes things, as well as joining us for a one-shot game or two.